man, you need more fish and chips and less politics. And I was like, oh, okay, let's go this away. What do you got going in your world, man?
What?
Oh, wait, hey, I think you got like an SOS pad on your face.
Is this your shitty way of shaming me?
Well, nothing says I'm old like a gray beard.
I know. I should have cleaned
Wow.
up.
Gray ear hair is about the only thing worse, or like the rhino hairs coming out the end of your nose.
Hmm.
What's going on in your world? We're just still on the shit show over here. Hey, we are going to be the first state to have all the fake election stuff in our history books.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I thought we had this thing beat. I really did. We had enough senators on to vote to send it back to the school board, which
Mm.
everybody involved are Kevin Stidham appointees.
Okay.
Everyone. It's all his fault. And he has managed to walk away with no dagger anywhere near him. Yeah. And the Senate agreed to keep in all of the. So, for those people who don't understand, so we have a school board here, handpicked by the governor, and they voted on a deal they shouldn't have voted on because they didn't know what it was and hadn't read it. And they said that.
Hmm.
And the school superintendent had given them a different copy of what they were voting on. And then he added a bunch of stuff in about saying that the 2020 election was fake and all this other stuff. I mean, removed basically Joe Biden's legacy for whatever his legacy was. COVID ended under Joe Biden. So he gets that one. No, everything about him's out of the book. And it's like 10 pages of stuff that our superintendent added in on his own. And so they protested and said, we didn't vote for this.
Mm.
And basically called him a liar. And then he called them a liar. And what we found out is in the Senate, the school superintendent has more friends than the school board. And so it's going to be in our history books for 6 years.
This is awesome.
And this is how it starts. And we're the first ones in the country. And I just want to say for our weird little India America podcast, we were on the floor on this thing from day one. But we didn't. It isn't that we lost or won because they did whatever they were going to do. We reported on it accurately from the start. Isn't that crazy?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Speaking
That's
of
where we are.
speaking of India, you do realize that we're kind of at war, right? It
With
started last night.
Pakistan, evidently.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you guys are, what are you doing? Fake flying missiles at each other? Is that what I understand it to be?
Yeah, so this is that. I don't know how much of this is. I don't know how much of this we can talk about on here, but so
I'd be careful
there was a terrorist attack that I
because
mentioned.
hold on, because you don't have to worry about getting arrested there. You have to worry about getting arrested here if you come back.
Yeah. So this is like a double whammy for me.
Yeah. Let's be honest. Yes, it's true. All right. So carefully describe your.
Oh, so there was a terrorist attack where it's like a vacation spot that's near the border where
Okay.
some infiltration thing happened and they killed like 26, 29 people
Yeah.
after they asked them for their name to make sure that they were Hindu.
Oh, well.
Okay? And that's what happened back then, eh? And it's taken India like till yesterday where they bombed like 9 places in Pakistan because they think that those were all Pakistan infiltration tactics. Hmm. And just now I got notified by The Guardian that the Pakistan Prime Minister has authorized them to attack India as a response.
Well, don't you have 30 times the amount of people that they do?
We do.
Okay. Well, I mean, this doesn't end well. You might
I
want to
know.
talk to the people over in central Middle East and find out how that works out.
Hmm.
It doesn't work out well. I guess the Italians in the Godfather movie said, what would they say? About every 10 years, this stuff has to happen to clear out the bad blood. And, I'd say in politics, it's about every 50 years you have these big tussle ups. And I was just hoping we were beyond them. Now, ours are all self-imposed. Like we did ours. You can't do anything about terrorists doing that stuff. I really and truly Israel has set the mark for how to do this. If somebody does something terrible to you, you have permission to eliminate everyone.
Yep.
And like it or not, that is the new mark.
I did read a quote from, I think, someone from the defense ministry in Israel who said he was very happy with the way the operation has gone down.
Well, and I think next they're just going to, take whatever land's left. I mean, and look, the problem is, as much as we all look at it and know what it is and everything, they've got an excuse, and you can't give somebody the excuse to come eliminate your entire population. Hamas, man.
The weird part was, okay, so during my sets at time, if I see someone laughing too much, I'd be like, hey, remember there's a war going on. Now it doesn't sound so funny when I have to do it now.
Yeah. Well, what I would say over here, the fatigue is setting in. It's the 100-day fatigue. There's 1,200 days in this guy's job post.
Yeah, y'all are running out of steam very quickly. And also the way the news media has been covering it, they're going to be exhausted or burned out and replacing the entire staff in like a year.
Well, you're just numb to it. So what I did see yesterday, though, that I've not seen is there are groups of veterans that are angrily protesting all over the nation and anti the present president. And I think that's not being covered as well as it should be.
Is it because of all the people that got fired from Veterans Affairs and all that?
No, like they're soon it's going to get pretty bad if they don't get paid attention to. There's, I think, the safest way to say that. Look, at Stephen Miller now has this legal deal, and that's probably why Trump got all these lawyers to sign on for the hundreds of millions of dollars of free legal work. That he's going to go around, and our podcast is not an issue because we don't have a million person following, and they're just going to go through everybody's transcripts and find reasons to sue them.
Oh, wow.
If you're going to do opposition, get the.
The irony of this is, Sean, that this podcast, I thought we were safe for the sole reason that it's technically based under the company in Oklahoma. Now we're screwed for that.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? So I'm trying to think of what else is going over here aside from just insane politics. Here's a good one for you. So this is stuff that happens to me every once in a while. Somebody was on my Instagram page, which is essentially a THC page. Like I teach people how to make things with THC that they can use as balms, food, all this other stuff. And someone was like, man, you need more fish and chips and less politics. And I was like, oh, okay.
Is it one of those people that did not like us talking about politics at the pub?
Right. Well, yeah, same thing at a pub where politics are discussed. It's I don't think people are forming up what you and I have presented, and I would say what Kit Fairchild and I have presented is another view of politics because it's not being played in Oklahoma on any radio or television. So this is it. Like, this is the only way you hear that there's another side.
Yeah.
When they see a Democratic politician on, they're just not paying attention. They're just not doing it.
Yeah, it's kind of unhealthy to be that shut off.
Well, what ends up happening is what you take for fact is not fact. It's hyperbole. And you and I know that. And years in media would teach people verbiage is really what you want to look at. And it isn't what they're saying. What's the action? What's the action they're doing? Trump doesn't care about Alcatraz, but he got you to quit looking at the fact that he put an AI image of him dressed as the Pope.
Yeah. Sean, so, how do your people in Ireland feel about this? I was very curious.
So I think 10 years ago it would have been a big deal. What I like about Donald Trump, and it's hard to say this because there are parts of the guy's personality I really like, he shows everybody for what they are. So all the cardinals are together in Rome, and he did this. And you had one speak out. That was it. One. And the media questioned the other ones, like, well, what do you think of this? And they're like, it's bad. The guy literally he isn't even Catholic.
Yeah.
Put himself in a pope's outfit after the guy died and put the picture out as if he's given the sign of the cross. But it shows you he doesn't care about religion. This is just a political means to an end that he had to get together with the right-wing nut jobs to get to not go to jail. And now he's punishing all the people that wanted to put him in jail. He said he was going to do it, and he's doing it. But
I do love the idea of reopening Alcatraz, and I do love the fact that the news people tried to reach out to the people operating Alcatraz.
It's a museum.
Yeah, these are museum curators. What the fuck are they going to tell you about a prison? They know history.
But he did chase everybody down the rabbit hole. He is great at the red herring. Hey, man, I'll give the guy credit. He knows how to work the media, and he knows how to feed the media. And when one of the cardinals protested this AI image of him as Pope, he goes, "It's a joke." And the guy's like, "Not to us. You're mocking us." And I go, "No, he's not. He got you a bunch of money, and he's proving to you you can't say anything because you took the money."
Oh.
That part is what I love about the guy. I love that. I don't like it. I love it.
He does put people in their place and show them where
right.
he stands.
Yeah, you little bitch, you took the money. What are you going to say now? Huh? What are you going to do?
Wasn't this one of his campaign things where he used to say that he had donated money to everybody who works in politics? So,
well, they have all come to him for money. And you know what happens here is on the off chance a Democrat might win, you have to give them some money. You know, down in Texas, they just had elections and it went heavily Democratic. And so the flow, the aggravation and the flow, and Texas used to be a red state, and it's a bluish pink red, depending on the mood of the time. But they did go for Trump by a few points. But they just did some city elections and went heavily Democratic. So I'm interested to see how that plays out into other places. Look, we've got some interesting times ahead. You know, the good thing here is Congress changes every 2 years.
Yeah.
And that's the bellwether of American politics. We're already a year into it almost. So you need to be announcing now if you're running the next time. And so you've got midterms are what they're called. And so we're 16, 17 months away. But the startup to them, we're 3 months away. Like, you need to be announcing now that you're running. So everybody will move middle pretty quick. I mean, hey, look, kudos to these guys for lying about Project 2025, but kudos to them for implementing so many things so quickly. I mean, I will give everybody credit for that. And what you also want to look at is go, look, he's just trying to keep his tax cuts in, and he's just going to hash the poor. I mean, this is a guy that doesn't know what poor is.
Yeah, I do like the fascination with the term groceries. It always makes me crack up.
Right.
You know that's someone who's never been grocery shopping in his life.
Right. Ever. It's an interesting dynamic. I don't know where we end up. I'm heading to Mexico next week. Oh, so we'll have to do our deal down there if I can get good enough internet. I'm in like an old silver mining town. So we'll have to chat.
I'm the one who has the habit of going to obscure places in other countries. Why are you doing that?
So I am honestly looking for places whether I want to retire there or not.
No, nice. Have you ever looked at Costa Rica or the Dominican, or is that already?
Yeah,
too full?
I don't want to be where all the other Americans are going.
That's what I thought. It's too full.
Well, my thing is I speak Spanish. I can speak some Italian. I can speak some French. I can speak some Portuguese, and I know I sound really un-American here, so nobody come arrest me because I can get through some other languages. That was you can steal that one. You can steal that. That's a good opening line.
Sean, you do need to come to India at some point and look at the French colony, which is Pondicherry.
It's too hot there, Deepak. It is too hot.
Sean, do you know a lot of pensioners from the UK come and settle down there?
I know. I'm not against it. So, I want to be somewhere where there's good food. So you guys are on the map.
Yeah.
So I am looking maybe 3 years from now. I'd like to at least be living 6 months a year somewhere, and then 6 months maybe here. Look, I moved to Oklahoma because my kids mom moved here with my kids. I have nothing against the place or for the place. But most of the places in America I'd like to live now, I'd have to have $500,000 to get a house that I'd be willing to live in. And you go, no, I don't need to do that. I can speak another language. So the question is, as you go, South America, I don't really want to do Central America. It's honestly not developed enough for me. And I really do mean that. I need an airport and I need air conditioning.
Yeah.
And that's, as long as I have those two doable things, what I'd like to be is in more of a desert area so my allergens would knock off.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's been murderous here. Murderous.
Air quality would be like a big deal breaker for you, right?
Which one?
Air quality, to make sure that you don't fuck up.
So I couldn't do Bangalore. You had you got too many people in too small of a space. So Buenos Aires, Argentina, 8 million people. I love that city. You know, when I came back, I was like, I'd live there. Yeah. My lungs were messed up when I was there, and I had to go on steroids while I was there. And I mean, it can't be from anything other than the fact that they just had a lot of and great bus system, but they were still running diesel buses. Some of them, some were gas, but there are just too many people in a small space. So I don't think I can do that one.
Yeah, and especially taking steroids after that, it kind of fucks up your bone density in the future.
Right. And that doesn't matter when you're your age. It matters when you're my age, because sooner or later, so in the morning, you know, I do yoga, I walk my dog, I do all of these like dance footstep steps, which are really old football exercises for my ankles and knees. And man, all it takes one fall and it's the beginning of the end, as every old person knows. So, so that's where I'm going next. And then Maine after that. And I don't know about Maine. Maine's pretty cold.
Yeah, but then I bet the population's low and the air quality is really good considering where they are.
Right. And everybody's educated.
I
mean, I'd like that. I'd like the change of that for a little while. We are soon to be surpassed by Mississippi. We will be last in the greater America, you know, if you just take continental United States.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Last. and look, this guy's probably still going to try to run for governor. I mean, he was floating it again last week. You know, they floated lieutenant governor. I was like, I'll run against you. Go ahead, sign up. And so somebody was floating the governor thing, and you go, dude, everybody knows your name and only 14% of Republicans like you. Like, you have to do better than that. Even in Oklahoma, you have to do better than that. So you remember Cindy Munson?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, she's running for governor as a Democratic candidate.
I think she'd be a great candidate, but how does that?
That's what I tell everybody. She's great. The party is so bad, I don't know. She has to get an independent to run that could siphon off votes from the other side. The problem is you siphon them off from both sides and you have the same problem.
Tell me, does she run into this problem of your unorganized, disorganized Democratic Party putting up a primary candidate against her?
Well, you know, don't be surprised if it happens. I mean, as far as candidates go, she's all good for the party. Like, she makes the party look good. I don't have any idea at this point how she will do. I mean, she had to think she had a shot at something or was building to something, or she wouldn't have run, because she's smart.
Yeah.
She's a phenomenal public speaker. But in Oklahoma, a female of half Asian descent.
Are you ready for that?
I am.
You are, I know.
Yeah. And I like her. And look, she and I are on different sides of the democratic process. I am much more vocal and out front and willing to challenge people, I think would be the lightest way of saying that. And she's much more polite, deal working and everything. And I'll give you an example. So I had a guy in here last night, former Republican candidate for some offices. And he said, what we need are more women like your wife. You know, she never sounded like she was talking down to people and did this and this and this. And I said, and your people gerrymandered her, so it was impossible for her to win an office. So that didn't work either. That's why women talk down to you guys, because you've made this where it's impossible for anybody else to have a chance.
You'd be surprised, right, that it's 2025 and we're still talking about
Right.
women able to run for public office.
Well, and I got to tell you, the Democrats have a problem sharing power amongst the races because it's easy to be Republican. You're 95% white, which you and I know the difference in the cultures in the white community. A lot of other people just look and see white people. I mean, they do. You know, they don't know any better. But that we don't like each other generally.
You know me sometimes to be a dick. Even I look at somebody and I'm like, "Is that Sean?" And someone will be like, "No, it's just some other white guy."
One of his other ancestors' offspring that lives somewhere else. So I want her to do well. I'm really fascinated with why she chose to run because this politic environment right now is for people like me that don't mind scrapping.
Yeah.
And if you're not a scrapper, I don't know if anybody's listening.
Yeah, I don't think you even get through the bubbles if you just sound cohesive, educated, and a politician. Doesn't break through.
No, I mean you gotta have the hat. You gotta have the comment. You gotta move your hands like you would on camera, make everybody look at you. Yeah, I mean you and I could run any of these campaigns with our eyes closed.
Yeah, because we know how to make a news segment. That's all it is.
Right. I need 15 seconds. I'd prefer 5.
Guys, we're getting into too much data in this middle section, so I need you to walk along and talk so that people don't tune out. Then
would you go pick up that calf over there and act like you know how to do it?
Now that we've got their attention, we'll put up a graph.
So I think from Oklahoma City's standpoint, I'm still pretty fascinated with where we're going to go. The rural areas, though, if the Catholic Church gets this St. Isidore's deal through the Supreme Court, which it sounded like it was a friendly Supreme Court because it's a bunch of Catholics that Trump put up there. That's his gift back to him. That's why nobody's saying anything.
Even with the Pope image and everything, they're like, "Hey, leave him alone." The Supreme
Court showed them for what they are, man. I mean, woo, Lordy, ballsy move, ballsy move. Yeah. So I don't know where all that goes. I'm interested to see. I have not made any moves yet because I'm still waiting for Walters. You know, and if he doesn't run, I don't care. I don't run. I mean, I don't need to run for anything. I mean, it is not necessary. It might be fun, but it's unnecessary. Yeah.
Yeah, considering that you are looking at countries to retire in, Sean.
Right. Well, and look, the thing is I have a house here. It isn't like I'm abandoning the place. I own a business here.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like I think everybody's bad and I'm leaving, that kind of stuff. It's none of that. I like living with weird people or people that we would consider to be weird. They think I'm weird. I think they're weird. Let's find out what we can both do together and make something good. So I'm going out to eat tonight with a Scottish friend of mine and this other guy, and it's a widows group. And we're going to Mexican food, and one of the guys was like, "I hate Mexican food. I can never find anything I eat." And I go, "If I could get you basically a French dip at a Mexican restaurant, would you be okay with it?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "All right, so we're gonna go have birria." And I was like, "It's basically a quesadilla you dip into consomme." I mean.
Those things are delicious.
They are fantastic, but they're very, very, very Western European. I mean, so tacos were created. They were trying to make shawarma, and because of the stuff they had, they couldn't make pita bread, so they made tortillas. That's how tacos began. Is shawarma.
Plenty of corn, and you just use that.
Yeah, I mean, it was what was available at the time. It grows easy. All right, how are we looking time-wise?
We're good, actually.
Well, you are awesome, my friend. Get some rest. Why were you up all night?
Oh God, Sean, there's a shipment that needs to be picked up in
Germany. You know how suspect this sounds. I'm not getting it, man. I'm not getting it.
So it actually sounds even more suspect because the times when you call the warehouse in Germany, they're like, oh, you need to pick it up from the Czech Republic because it's in that warehouse. And then we have to reroute it all over the world. So that is why I end up on multiple time zones. And I'm like, somebody else do this.
Be careful with that. See, my TikTok account got freaking hacked.
Seriously?
Yeah, can't get in it. Yeah. No, I mean, it's just like I can't get in it. So I had to start another one.
You need to always turn on two-factor authentication.
So here's the thing. For somebody like you, that makes sense. And for somebody like me, that's just more shit I have to do when I'm already busy. And here's Kyle's deal about the internet, since, you know, he sells it.
Mm-hmm.
He said, everybody needs to get off of the internet. He goes, it's not secure. None of it is secure. It is absolutely unsecure. And I'm like, yes, we all know that. That's why I work in the field called money. How do the crypto bros keep from getting robbed all the time? I mean, how are their sites secure enough not to be getting robbed?
To be honest with you, a lot of the smart ones actually hold it on wallets that aren't connected to the internet. So that is how you find these stories where a guy lost a flash drive with like billions on it, millions on it.
Holy shit.
That is the advantage of security and protecting it from a hacker, but you also have to keep a physical thing safe now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. All right, big homie. I am out of here.